everybody, welcome back to Engaging the Phenomenon. So today's discussion is going to be the CE-5 stigma. And why do most people instantly, when they hear CE-5, they completely disregard it? I'm going to break this down into 4 simple categories. Of course, these 4 categories are not going to cover every single idea out there that conflicts with CE-5, but it will cover the majority of this kind of knee-jerk reaction to CE-5. When people hear CE-5, they just go, oh, that's nonsense or whatever. So first and foremost, and likely the main reason that comes up that conflicts with the CE-5 stigma is the association with Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, everybody knows this. People hear Dr. Stephen Greer's name and they just get a taste in their mouth and they, that's it. So a lot of times when you try to talk about CE-5, even if the person mentioning CE-5 does not mention Dr. Greer, they will instantly say, well, Dr. Greer's full of it. Well, who said anything about Dr. Greer? We're not talking about Dr. Greer. We're talking about CE-5. Get that right. Okay? Do not make assumptions. And it's not a wrongful assumption because Dr. Stephen Greer did coin the term CE-5. And it makes sense that somebody talking about CE-5 is referring to Dr. Greer and his work, or his ideology that goes behind CE-5. But I'm here to tell you, CE-5 is bigger than Dr. Greer nowadays. CE-5 has had different names over the different millennia, okay? RAMA was doing CE-5 decades ago. But CE-5 is a very useful term nowadays. It's modern. It communicates a very simple idea and approach. CE-5, human-initiated contact with UFO intelligence. Done. Okay? So again, number one reason people disregard CE-5 when they hear it is because they automatically assume that it's some way associated with Dr. Greer, and again, not true. CE-5 is much bigger than that, especially nowadays. It's much more grassroots than that. People all have their own approach to CE-5 nowadays. There's no one way to do CE-5. There's no one ideology and belief behind CE-5. Okay, so going further to the number 2 reason why people disregard CE-5 when they first see it is a bad first impression. Maybe bad information. Let's say somebody's surfing on the internet and they see somebody make a CE-5 post picture, and it's a picture of a reflection of a light in a window. And now they extrapolate and say, oh, all the CE-5 is nonsense because this one person posted a picture that was a misidentification. Probably somebody new to the area, to CE-5, and they just don't know better. And or somebody that posts a video of a satellite or even a plane, even if it's a night vision or a regular camera, somebody says, oh, CE-5, that's just a satellite, or that's just a plane, or those are birds in night vision, and the person just doesn't know better. Well, yeah, so I guess you can consider this under misinformation or even misidentification. And again, likely it's just people that don't know better. And I don't want to say, I hate to say it, but it's the reality of the situation, is that CE-5 has come up fast over the last decade, for sure. So there's a lot of new people, and there's a lot of inexperienced people, and there's a lot of people coming into the CE-5 field with their own beliefs and lack of experience, and they might put information out there that's not accurate, but that should not represent the entire CE-5 field, because there is some extremely compelling information there's some extremely accurate information out there regarding CE-5. It's just that a lot of the times, the majority of the stuff you're going to see on there is not as accurate or experienced as it should be. And that's the reality of it. And there's really no way around that, because there's no official CE-5 outlet where you can say this is what represents all CE-5. No, because CE-5 is an individual process now. Even though people get together in groups to do CE-5, CE-5 is, there's no one authority in CE-5 anymore. That's just not how it is. Okay. The number 3 reason why people usually instantly disregard CE-5 is that they haven't tried it. You know, there's people out there who, you know, they'll say, oh, CE-5 doesn't work, and they spew a bunch of negativity, and they say how it's all BS. And then when you come to ask them, well, have you tried it? Or how long have you tried it for? How many times have you tried it? Have you ever given it a real serious go? Usually their answer off the bat is, no, I don't need to, or, you know, along those lines. So believe it or not, there's so many people out there criticizing it, and they've never tried it. They have no experience with it whatsoever. And I don't know what makes them have the idea that they can be an authority to say on anything on it if they've never tried it. That really makes no sense, especially since it is a somewhat scientific process, and the idea that you're using methodology to have certain results and effects. And they're usually is pretty accurate. So that is the number 3 reason why people usually disregard CE-5 off the bat. And the number 4 reason here is going to be simply a limiting belief system. Some people just don't believe that UFOs represent another intelligence. Some people don't believe in ESP psychic phenomena, even though there at the end of the day might be something more technological at play with the UFO intelligence using some kind of advanced technology that we might call ESP, but it's actually something else. Or they have maybe religious framework that kind of prohibit them from thinking outside the box to the extent where we're dealing with other intelligences. Because if you say that we're being visited by another intelligence, that could be very damaging to somebody's belief system. And I don't place any blame or criticism on them. You know, we've been conditioned on this planet for thousands of years by different religions, and we kind of just grow up listening to, you know, our parents or brothers, sisters, whoever else, and we have this religious framework that kind of helps us through life. In some cases, it kind of gives us an idea of the universe, and we feel comfortable with that. And to threaten that that comfort zone for some is it can be damaging psychologically if you can't make it through that leap, because you have, if CE-5 is true and you could contact other intelligences out there that are off-world, interdimensional, whatever, that kind of threatens your whole paradigm, and that can make you a little unstable. So again, limiting belief systems, I place no criticism on people that have them. You know, people are conditioned their whole lives, and to upset that could, you know, have ramifications. So those are the 4 main reasons, in my opinion, for the stigma around CE-5. Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in talks on CE-5, UFOs, UAP, and related phenomena, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.